Welcome to Martial Mastery Media. Today, we're embarking on an in-depth journey into the history of the Gracie family and their revolutionary creation, Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. This incredible story is one of resilience, innovation, and a relentless pursuit of excellence that has not only shaped the world of martial arts but has also left an indelible mark on global combat sports. Before we get started, please share this video with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our deep dives into martial arts history. Let's dive into the legacy of the Gracie family and the evolution of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. Main content: the origins of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, BJJ, are deeply rooted in the early 20th century and are intertwined with the fascinating story of the Gracie family. To understand the birth of BJJ, we must first go back to Japan, where traditional Jiu-jitsu and Judo were practiced for centuries. One of the key figures in this story is Mitsuyo Maeda, a Japanese Judo expert and a student of the legendary Judo founder Jigoro Kano. Maeda was a skilled fighter and a true martial arts pioneer who traveled the world in the early 1900s, demonstrating his techniques and taking on challengers in various countries. In 1914, Maeda arrived in Brazil, where he was introduced to Gastão Gracie, a prominent businessman with a strong interest in the martial arts. To show his gratitude for Gastão's help in establishing himself in Brazil, Maeda offered to teach Judo to Gastão's son, Carlos Gracie. Carlos was fascinated by the art and quickly became a dedicated student. Under Maeda's guidance, Carlos learned the principles of leverage, balance, and submission, which would later become foundational elements of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. Carlos Gracie's journey in martial arts didn't stop at learning from Maeda. He was determined to adapt and refine the techniques to suit his needs and those of his family. After years of training, Carlos began teaching his siblings, particularly focusing on his younger brother, Elio Gracie. Elio, unlike his older brother, was not naturally athletic. He was smaller and weaker, which initially limited his ability to perform many of the traditional Judo techniques. However, this perceived disadvantage became the catalyst for a significant innovation in martial arts. Elio Gracie, determined to master the techniques, began modifying them to rely more on leverage and technique rather than brute strength. He focused on the mechanics of body positioning, creating a system that allowed a smaller, weaker individual to effectively defend against and defeat a larger, stronger opponent. This adaptation was the genesis of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, a martial art that emphasizes ground fighting, submissions, and the use of leverage to control and subdue opponents. As the Gracie brothers honed their skills, they became eager to test the effectiveness of their newly developed art. In the 1920s and 1930s, they issued a series of public challenges known as the Gracie Challenges. These were open invitations to practitioners of other martial arts to test their skills against the Gracies in no-holds-barred matches. The challenges were not just about proving the superiority of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu but also about demonstrating the practicality and effectiveness of the techniques in real-life combat situations. Elio Gracie, in particular, gained fame for taking on opponents much larger and stronger than himself. His victories in these challenge matches helped build the Gracie family's reputation as formidable martial artists and solidified the effectiveness of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. The success of these challenges played a significant role in spreading BJJ across Brazil and attracting students to the Gracie academies. In 1925, the Gracie family opened their first academy in Rio de Janeiro, where they began to systematically teach and develop their art. The Gracie Academy became the epicenter of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, with the family refining the techniques and principles that would define the martial art. The training at the academy emphasized live sparring, known as rolling, which allowed students to test their skills in a controlled but realistic environment. This emphasis on practical application made BJJ a highly effective and adaptable martial art. One of the core philosophies of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, as taught by the Gracies, is the idea that a smaller, weaker person can successfully defend themselves against a larger, stronger attacker through the use of technique and leverage. This principle has made BJJ accessible to people of all sizes and physical abilities, and it has become a foundational aspect of the art's identity. The Gracies also promoted the concept of BJJ as a gentle art, where the goal is to control and submit an opponent without causing unnecessary harm. This philosophy has helped BJJ to gain widespread appeal as both a self-defense system and a sport. The Gracie family's influence on martial arts did not remain confined to Brazil. In the 1980s, Rorion Gracie, one of Elio's sons, moved to the United States with a mission to spread Brazilian Jiu-jitsu internationally. Rorion began teaching BJJ in his garage in California, and his efforts quickly attracted attention. However, it was the creation of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, in 1993 that would catapult Brazilian Jiu-jitsu onto the world stage. The UFC was designed by Rorion Gracie as a platform to showcase the effectiveness of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu against other martial arts. The format of the early UFC events was essentially a no-rules, no-weight class tournament where practitioners of different styles could compete against each other. Rorion selected his younger brother, Royce Gracie, to represent the family in the inaugural UFC events. Despite his relatively small size, Royce dominated the competition, using Brazilian Jiu-jitsu to defeat much larger and stronger opponents with ease. His victories in the early UFC events shocked the martial arts world and proved the effectiveness of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu in real combat situations. Royce Gracie's success in the UFC was a turning point for Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. It brought the art international recognition and established it as a cornerstone of modern mixed martial arts, MMA. The techniques and strategies developed by the Gracie family became essential components of MMA training, and BJJ's influence can be seen in the grappling and submission skills of fighters around the world. The legacy of the Gracie family extends far beyond the octagon. The family has continued to refine and promote Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, with many members becoming champions, instructors, and ambassadors for the art. The Gracie name has become synonymous with excellence in BJJ, and their academies continue to produce top-level practitioners and competitors globally. The Gracie family's dedication to innovation, education, and the dissemination of BJJ has ensured that the art will continue to thrive for generations to come. Brazilian Jiu-jitsu has grown into a global phenomenon, with schools and practitioners on every continent. While the Gracie family may be the most famous name associated with BJJ, the art has been embraced and developed by countless individuals and communities around the world. Yet, the Gracies remain a central and influential force within the BJJ community, and their legacy continues to inspire martial artists everywhere. Conclusion. The story of the Gracie family and Brazilian Jiu-jitsu is one of transformation, from the humble beginnings in the early 20th century to the global dominance of the art in the modern era. The Gracies' relentless pursuit of excellence and their commitment to sharing their knowledge have forever changed the landscape of martial arts. Brazilian Jiu-jitsu is not just a martial art, it's a way of life, and its impact will continue to be felt for generations to come. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of the Gracie family and Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, please share this video, give it a thumbs up, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Martial Mastery Media and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of our martial arts history series. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.